Hey everybody, Captain B-Nard here with your BHDL3 Week 8 recap and Week 9 preview. So, we're just going to go ahead and jump right into this by taking a closer look at our opponent for this week. And that, of course, was the Atacama Tyrannotars, coached by Biridou. Now, we are obviously no strangers to Biridou. This was our fifth match here on Scarlet and Violet. He is a strong competitive battler and seasoned draft league participant. And so on the screen right now, you can see a snapshot of his roster this season. And so when I look at this team, the Pokemon that I thought he was definitely going to bring to this match were the Excadrill, Tyranitar, Houndstone, and a Zelf. Now, the Pokemon that I thought had a decent shot of coming here would include the Walking Wake, Tornadus Therian, Moltres, and Vileplume. And then, of course, the Pokemon of his that I thought really didn't have much of any shot of coming would include the Rotom Frost and the Carbink, simply because I didn't really feel like they had a very good matchup into my team. So, having said that, we're going to go ahead and throw it over to the team preview screen to see what he actually brought to the match. So, here you can see the six Pokemon that he brought to the game on the right-hand side, as well the six Pokemon that I brought on the left. And so, as you can see, he decided to bring the Carbink, Houndstone, Tornadus Therian, Vileplume, Excadrill, and a Zelf. So, I said it at the time, I'll say it again. I was very surprised to see him bring the Carbink to this match for two reasons. One of which, as I said, it didn't really seem to have a very good matchup into my team, but additionally, it is a Carbink as well. So you have to bear that in mind. Now, as far as the Pokemon that I brought to the game were concerned, of course, you can see I decided to bring the Scizor, Rotom Wash, Goodra, Alolan Ninetales, Mudsdale, and of course the Sneasler. So, nothing crazy there, nothing super unexpected, I don't think. Again, these are just the six Pokemon that I thought had the best matchup into his team. So, um, but yeah, we're going to go ahead and keep on rolling here by taking a look at what actually happened in the game. So, for those of you who saw the game, this will be no surprise, but if you haven't seen the game, unfortunately, we did end up losing this match 2-0. It was a pretty close, pretty competitive game, honestly, pretty good, pretty solid game, I would say. But unfortunately, we just did not have what it took to come out on top of this one. And so, since we lost the game, I'm going to go ahead and name the game LVP once again. And once again, I'm going to have to say that the LVP of this game was, in fact, myself, Captain B-Nard, for several reasons that I will get into more on the next screen. But yeah, once again, um, I really didn't feel like any of my Pokemon in particular dropped the ball this week. I really feel like it was more of a case of me dropping the ball. Um, so yeah, that's why I decided to go ahead and give it to myself once again. So, but yeah, having said that, we're going to go ahead and take a look at the key takeaways for the week. And so, up on the screen here, one, I want to start the key takeaways off by saying that I thought that this was a pretty even match on paper, actually. So if you look at my opponent's roster top to bottom, if you look at my roster top to bottom, I thought that we had pretty interesting matchups as far as he had obviously a lot of premier powerhouses on his team. Decent defensive Pokemon, all that good stuff as well. Same could be said for my team. So um, the interactions, I would say, were pretty even as far as team matchups on paper, which is why I would say that. It was an even match on paper, of course. But other key takeaways this week would be, I would say, I prepped okay for this game, but I also played the game okay. So, um, what I mean by that is, I thought that Overall, my sets were pretty appropriate for his roster. So I don't think I had anything really super crazy or techy aside from the Akaberry scissor this week, which ended up not being a factor at all anyway. Just because the primary reason I brought that, as I had stated in the game, was for a mixed Tyranitar, which he actually didn't even end up bringing a Tyranitar at all. But additionally, um, other Pokemon that could have had fire coverage on the team, he didn't even bring or didn't even have those moves. So that ended up being a bust. But other than that, I thought that the prep was uh, decent on my side. Um, as well, I will also say that I thought I played okay in this match. And so there were quite a few turns in this game that I thought that I made some good predictions. But as well, I thought there were some turns that I made some bad predictions. So kind of splits the difference there, I think. Um, I don't think that I, um, excuse me, played the best in this game, but I also don't think I played the worst. Um, there is one particular thing that stands out to me in this game as far as plays go, and I suppose I will go over that with you guys right now. Um, and that is toward the middle to the end of the game, I want to say. We had a situation where I had my Sneasler in versus my opponent's Tornadus Therian, and so I am choice Scarf locked into close combat here. I know another close combat would be enough to take the Tornadus out from that range. However, in this situation, I decide to go ahead and switch, predicting that he might know that I'm Scarf and switch into the Houndstone, or that he maybe potentially could even be max speed Scarf on the Tornadus, although I was pretty sure he was choice Specs at the time. Um, but anyway, I decided to make the over predict essentially and switch out. And to make a long story short, if you've seen the game, you'll already know this. Um, this kind of ends up costing me the game in the long run, because had I just stayed in and attacked, I would have been at enough of an advantage, differential wise in the game, that I probably could have won the game, because it kind of just came down to toward the end of the game, uh, with my choice Scarf Sneasler versus his choice Scarf Excadrill. It really just came down to who had more Pokemon to sack on a switch, so that you could, keep cycling through the Excadrill and the Sneasler to lock yourself into a different move with on the choice Scarf. And so obviously, since choice Scarf Sneasler does outspeed choice Scarf Excadrill, I kind of feel like that really just threw the game for me. And I'm not gonna lie to you guys. You know me, I'm always honest with you guys, if nothing else. And so I just have to tell you guys this. Um, this loss is not one that really sits well with me, because, quite honestly, I feel like I just blew it. I feel like I had the game in the palm of my hand at one point, actually, and I threw it away. And so I feel like this is a game that I could have won, a game that I should have won, and the game that I did not win. So um, it does leave a sour taste in my mouth. And yeah, I'm I'm certainly not none too thrilled about that. Um, it's nothing against my opponent, of course. It's just a me thing, because I feel like, like I said, if not for my mistake in that one turn, in that one moment, that I could have and should have perhaps won this game. Um, but yeah, it just kind of is what it is. Um, and yeah, that's really the only turn I can think about, honestly, when I think back on this game. The rest of it doesn't seem like it really matters too much. It's just that one turn is just kind of the only thing that pops out to me in this game, as the turn that kind of decided the game. Um, but yeah, like I said, it just kind of is what it is. It's unfortunate, but what can you do? Except hopefully try to not make the same mistakes again in the future. Um, but yeah, other takeaways I will say from this game are going to be, there were some hacks in this game, although I thought they were pretty even. There was a crit here or there on either side. Um, some other stuff. I don't think there was really any misses on less than 100 accuracy moves. Um, but yeah, all in all, a couple things here and there, but pretty even hacks, so can't really complain about that. And then the last thing I would say about this game would be, um, after this loss, it certainly feels like the Philadelphia Pidgeys are kind of losing momentum here in the BHDL3, and so that kind of feeds to the feeling that I had described moments ago here after this game. Now, the silver lining is, as I had stated after our last defeat, that the Pidgeys are still mathematically locked into playoffs here, so it doesn't really matter what happens in these games as far as us making playoffs because we are guaranteed to make playoffs. Um, However, it definitely does not feel great for us at this point because, like I said, it really feels like we're losing steam. We were at 1.60 undefeated, and then we've taken back-to-back losses these past 2 weeks. One of which was a pretty steep loss that we kind of got blown out of the water, and the other one a loss that it feels like shouldn't have happened but did. Um, so yeah, we kind of just have to hope to refocus here and just try to do the work and buckle down to get back on track here. Because even though we are guaranteed to make it into the playoffs at this point, having games turn out like these last ones have are not going to do us any favors once we do get to the playoffs. That's going to mean nothing more than a swift elimination for us. So we really have to just try to get back on track here after these last couple of weeks. So, um, but having said that, that's going to go ahead and feed us over to our Week 9 opponent here. And that is going to be the Brawling Conkelders, coached by Lionel. So, Lionel is a coach who we've faced once before here on Scarlet and Violet in a free game. He is a strong competitive battler in his own right. And so here on the screen, you can see a snapshot of his full draft league roster this season. And so you see a lot of powerhouses on that team, a lot of versatility on that team as well. So definitely going to be another tough challenge for us ahead this week. And I would say, as far as this game goes, this is going to be a pretty important game for us for two reasons. One of which, as I had stated previously, is going to be positioning, because as I had stated, even though we are mathematically locked into playoffs, we want to do as good as we possibly can to ensure we get the highest seed possible going into playoffs, which will dictate our opponent for the quarterfinals. Um, but the other reason is, from a morale perspective, I think we really need to get this win this week because, like I said, the last couple of losses have not felt good for different reasons. So um, we really need to, I think, for morale's sake, get the win this week to kind of get back on track. So, but yeah, definitely going to be another solid game. So we'll just have to see how that one plays out. So, but that's it. Thanks for watching again, everybody. Hope you all enjoyed. Please hit that like button, leave a comment, and/or subscribe if you did enjoy, and stay tuned for more new videos in the future. So that's it, and we'll see you next time.